And welcome back to another episode of Monday Evening Quarterback. Thank you guys for always following along and tuning in. It is Monday, October 27th already. Discuss what caught my eye in college football week 9. I can't believe we're in week 10 of NCAA football. And I always refer to the month of November as Statement November. This is where the playoff bracket slowly but surely starts to form itself, and we get those ranking shows, see what 12 are in. Anybody can be beat. A lot of these games are going to mean a little bit more now moving forward. Discussed all that. The first half of the show, went to the phone lines. Now it's time to talk about the NFL, where these young men and these kids hope to be one day. And man, we're at the halfway mark of the NFL season. Week 8, it started in Inglewood, California on Thursday night. Minnesota Vikings, Los Angeles Chargers. And before we get into that, I want to give a huge shout out to Rodney Harrison on being inducted into the Chargers Hall of Fame. Always had a great deal of respect for him. He was one guy you did not want to go over the middle on. Love him as an analyst. He's actually one of my inspirations as an analyst. And yeah, just glad to see him get his flowers. Now, to get him the real jacket, which is the gold jacket, because I think he's a Pro Football Hall of Famer. So, as I'm watching this game, the Chargers got a boost with Joe Alt being back. You know, he's the anchor of that offensive line. I know he had missed a couple of games with an ankle injury. And when they got him back, it just seemed like everything just gelled. This, to me, was the Chargers' best all-around game of the season. They were able to run the football with Kamani Vidal, 23 carries, 117 yards, and 1 touchdown. Justin Herbert, extremely efficient, 18 to 25, 227 yards, 3 touchdowns. Threw the 1 interception, but the Chargers' defense was also great. I mean, they only gave up 10 points. As far as Minnesota, Carson Wentz, not a great day at the office, and it kind of makes me wonder where would this game have been, or where would this game have gone if J.J. McCarthy were playing. But I don't always like playing a what-if game. The Chargers dominated this game, and they debuted new uniforms, which I actually like because they looked a hell of a lot better than those yellow ones they wore a week ago against the Indianapolis Colts. But the Chargers dominated this game 37-10. To get back into the win column, because they were embarrassed at the hands of the Indianapolis Colts the other day. The Jets finally got their first win of the season, 39-38. They scored 23 points in the fourth quarter. The Cincinnati Bengals should be ashamed of themselves because they had them down and they let the Jets come back. But the Jets were also playing with heavy hearts, because before the game yesterday, the news came out that former All-Pro center Nick Mangold, he unfortunately passed away at the age of 41 to a kidney disease. And 41 is just too young. Way too young. I know he was a beloved player during his time with the Jets and even after. Just seeing Rex Ryan's reaction to it on ESPN's Sunday NFL Countdown. He coached Nick, and you could tell just how deeply affected he was. My thoughts and prayers go out to the Mangold family, those who knew him. I know he played his college football at Ohio State. So, yeah, I want to extend my condolences to them and just anyone who knew him, man. Just seeing a lot of his former teammates and even current Jets and just speaking of him in such high regard. Mark Sanchez, Darrelle Revis, even Garrett Wilson had tweeted something. But yeah, this was an emotional win for the New York Jets. They won 39-38, a game that I don't think anybody gave them a chance to win. Aaron Glenn finally gets his first win as a head coach. The Bengals offense did nothing wrong. They ran the ball as a unit for 181 yards. Joe Flacco had a good game. Jamar Chase did what Jamar Chase does. It was this defense. Outside of Trey Hendrickson, this defense is absolute trash. I don't know any other way to put it. Justin Fields, he took care of the ball. 21-32, 244 yards passing, 1 touchdown. Breece Hall, 18 carries, 133 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, the Jets escaped with a 1-point victory, 39-38. Sticking with the AFC East, the Miami Dolphins, where's this effort been all year long? Maybe the best I think I've seen Tua look on an NFL field. 20 of 26, 205 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. Kirk Cousins did fill in for the Atlanta Falcons for Michael Penix Jr. as he's been battling an injury. Yeah, the Dolphins did everything correctly. They kept Bijan Robinson in check. Kirk Cousins, 21 of 31, 173 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions. Yeah, he was sacked once. Again, here's the common thing that a lot of people do when they watch football. They automatically want to blame the quarterback when things go right, when things don't go right. But the last time I checked, the quarterback doesn't play defense. So what's he getting blamed for? He can only control one side of the ball. So what exactly are we blaming him for? Yeah, the Dolphins, they surprised me in this one. They won this one 34-10. Devin Achane, 18 carries, 67 yards. Jalen Waddle, 5 receptions, 99 yards. And he caught one of the 4 touchdown passes from Tua. I was impressed. I was definitely impressed. I don't think anybody gave Miami a chance in hell to win that game. Continuing on with the AFC East, the Patriots handled their business against Cleveland. The Patriots are just 6-2. Let that sink in. The Patriots are really 6-2 right now. They're continuing to get great play from Drake May. He threw 3 more touchdown passes, and Stephon Diggs caught one of those. Matt Collins was your leading receiver for the Patriots. The struggles continue for Cleveland, and I actually saw a video. I want to discuss this. I mentioned this on my Twitter yesterday. I saw a video of Myles Garrett slamming his helmet down and kind of yelling in frustration. Look, I'm a competitive person, and of course, I hate to lose too, but Myles had a chance to leave. You decided to stay for the money, so you can't really say much. Just being completely honest. New England stays on top in the AFC East in first place, and the Buffalo Bills. Now, I called this game for Buffalo a trap game because they could have had the possibility of looking ahead because of who they play next week, the Chiefs. There was no Bryce Young for Carolina. Andy Dalton filled in, and he was sacked 7 times. If there were ever the term get right game, this was that for Buffalo, because prior to the bye week, you lost 2 in a row. You didn't look all that great. against the Atlanta Falcons. You let a game slip from between your fingers against the New England Patriots on a Sunday night a few weeks ago. Yeah. Buffalo won this game 40-9. Josh Allen, 12 of 19, 163 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. But the focal point of this offense was James Cook. 19 carries, 216 yards. Again, he's in that bracket with Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley. He has to touch the ball a certain amount of times in order for him to truly have an impact. Because when they get away from him, the offense is kind of sputtered all over the place. Let James Cook. Plain and simple. Khalil Shakir, 6 receptions, 88 yards, and Josh Allen also ran 2 touchdowns as well. Yeah, Buffalo handled their business, 40-9. Every team in the AFC East won. Just thought about that. I want to talk about the Chicago Bears, because they should really be ashamed of themselves. I think they took the Baltimore Ravens a little too lightly, and they paid for it. You know, they were really hitting their stride coming into that game yesterday, but again, things happen. Caleb Williams, 25 of 38, 285 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. And watching the Ravens, it kind of makes me wonder, say if they had started Tyler Huntley a lot sooner than they did, instead of starting Cooper Rush, what could have happened? 17 of 22, 186 yards passing, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Derrick Henry scored 2 touchdowns, and he actually surpassed arguably the greatest running back in NFL history, and Walter Payton on the touchdowns list. That's big time. Salute to the king. I like that Baltimore did not play Lamar Jackson in this game because they didn't want to set back. More than likely, he will be back next week, this upcoming Thursday night, when the Ravens play the Miami Dolphins. I think the Bears will be fine. I mean, look, losses happen. Yeah, this is a bad one, but all you got to do is just get back to the drawing board and go from there, and everything else will fall into place. But Baltimore, this was a big win for them, because I truly feel if they had lost that game yesterday, that just would have been a deeper hole. Now they can kind of climb up and do what they have to do. The Eagles hosted the Giants, and I said if there were a game for Saquon Barkley to get jump started, this was the one. And finally he did. He finally eclipsed 100 yards rushing in a single game. 14 carries, 150 yards, and he did score that touchdown. And he also caught a receiving touchdown as well. Jalen Hurts, numbers weren't great, but they were efficient enough to win. 15 of 20, 179 yards, and 4 touchdowns. He threw 2 to Dallas Goedert. He threw 1 to Saquon Barkley, and he threw 1 to Jahan Dotson. And can I tell y'all how much I love those Eagles uniforms, those Kelly Green ones? Love them. Absolutely love them. As far as the Giants, unfortunately lost another guy to more than likely a season-ending injury, Cam Scatterboo. You know, he's really become a fan favorite out here. I must say that. And, you know, that was devastating. You know, he and Jackson Dart have really built up a nice little connection. And just imagine if the Giants never lost Malik Neighbors. You still have Cam Scatterboo, and Jackson Dart is your starting quarterback. I think the Giants would be in a much better position now than what they're in. I mean, they'd be in a much better position than what they're in now. The Giants fell to 2-6. The Eagles did win this game, and they got their revenge, 38-20. The the Houston Texans, they've been such a weird team this year because they show flashes of being great, but they're so inconsistent, and their defense has been absolutely fantastic this year, but it's been their offense, specifically that offensive line, and I'll continue to say it. Joe Mixon is the most important player to this Texans offense, and they miss him. Woody Marks, yeah, he's good. Nick Chubb, a little past the prime, but yeah, and CJ Stroud has been, he's just been okay. But then again, a lot of this isn't his fault because he's running for his life 9 times out of 10, meaning his offensive line isn't blocking for him. He was 30 of 39, 318 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Xavier Hutchinson was the leading receiver, 5 receptions, 69 yards. And the Texans defense, which hasn't been bad at all this year, really kept Christian McCaffrey in check. And they dared Mac Jones to beat them. He couldn't do it. Houston shocks me, and they win this game 26-15. Yeah. Other things that caught my eye in week 8, the Buccaneers got back on track. They looked awful last week against the Detroit Lions on Monday night. Just couldn't get anything going. But they got back on track against the Saints, 23-3. I saw that the Broncos lost Patrick Surtain to an injury. And I'm hoping and praying it's nothing too serious because I really like what he brings to that Denver defense. And with that being said, that's pretty much all I have for the NFL portion of Monday Evening Quarterback. I was asked by my guy, Rob Carter, am I sold on the Indianapolis Colts? No. And to echo our other friend, Mike Griffin, Mike said, I'm not sold on anyone right now. And to be honest with you, I'm with him. This is as wide open as I think it's been in God knows how long. Like, no teams really run away with anything. And that's the parity of the league. And I think it keeps everything interesting, if I'm being real. Like, each week you're changing, okay, who's the best team in the league? Who's the best team in the league? Yeah, the Colts are 7-1. We're going to see who they really are. I know they have a game in Pittsburgh next week. And then in a couple weeks, they have another game against Kansas City at Arrowhead. So that is going to tell me everything I need to know. Because, yeah, Pittsburgh's a tough place to play, but I could say that's a winnable game, if I'm being honest. Jonathan Taylor right now is my MVP. And why don't we get into that, my award winners for right now at the halfway mark. MVP, like I just mentioned, Jonathan Taylor. I mean, he's been excellent this year, and when he's healthy, what a difference he makes. Where would the Colts be without number 28? And y'all know my rule. You better have game. If you have 2 first names, it's only right. I think comeback player of the year is Daniel Jones, hands down. Offensive player of the year. Be tough not to give it to Jamar Chase because he's still putting up big numbers even without Joe Burrow throwing him the ball. It's like, okay, put whoever you can under center, and I'm gonna just play football, and that's what he's been doing. Defensive player of the year, easily Myles Garrett. He's the best defensive player in the league. I think he's a top 5 player in the league. Coach of the year, it's between 2 guys to me. It's between Shane Steichen of the Indianapolis Colts and Mike Vrabel of the Patriots. Now, Mike was my pick to win the award when I put out my predictions on Instagram. Yeah, he was definitely my pick. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Wow. Guess you could say Abdul Carter. Possibly. No, I was kind of expecting a little more from Mason Graham. Offensive Player of the Year. I don't know. I feel like that's wide open. Ask me next week, and I'll answer that. Let me do a little preview of Monday Night Football. No Jaden Daniels for the Commanders, but they do get Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel back. Kansas City, if they play how they did last week against the Raiders, this team's unstoppable. Just give them the AFC right now. I do think Kansas City wins this game. Marcus Mariota will be under center for the Commanders. The Chiefs are rolling and they're clicking right now. And I think they get that done. And this is the final tune-up before a big game next week in Orchard Park against the Buffalo Bills. I cannot wait to get my hands on that. And with that being said, I'm going to wrap up the show. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode just as much as I had fun recording this episode. Keep up with us. Log on to the site, which is thedailyblitz.blog. Enter your email address and become a subscriber today. Follow us on Twitter at DailyBlitz_61, on Instagram at TheDailyBlitz61, and my personal page on Instagram, TheFootballAnalyst_61. Keep up with me on the airwaves Monday evening quarterback, and then every Monday night and Tuesday night you can catch me on the Prime Sports World with David On Point, Israel Rivera, TJ Hopkins, and Matt James. Wednesdays you can catch me on The Betting Window with Ronnie Kumpf and Ryan Shaw and John Danzo. Thinking of you always, John. Thursday, you can catch me on Snowman in the Morning with my man Brian Snow, talking all things football. Friday, you can catch me on College Football Showdown on Prime Sports World with Israel Rivera and Matt James. And yeah, that's my radio schedule. And if you need the links to any of those shows, let me know, and I will gladly get that to you. Of course, I'm going to end the show with shout-outs. Huge shout-out to my amazing mother and my gorgeous sister, Taylor, my son, Siebes, and my dad, who I all love oh so very much. My other siblings, Sean, Janice, Tanisha, Daphne, some of the other people I'm closest with, Robert Butler, Jason Tyree. Thank you guys for all y'all do. Still thinking and praying for you, Jason. Kimmel, Candace Carter, Rob Carter, Mike Griffin, Alex Bennett, Velo, Corey Harris, Deshaun Elliott, Cole Johnson, better known as Coach D, our moderator, the one that really keeps us sharp every day. Everybody that I've contributed for in the past and everybody I contribute for now. Thank you so very much. I will be back next week for another episode of Monday Evening Quarterback, God willing. I'm Christian Simpson. Enjoy Monday Night Football. Continue to send me your football questions. Let me know if you want to be a phone caller on Monday Evening Quarterback, because the more the better. Just email me, or if you have my personal information, do not be afraid to reach out. I will see you guys next week back here, Monday Evening Quarterback, on the spot. I'm also going to do the Prime right now. Don't meet me there. Beat me there. Have a great week. Have a great rest of the night, and I will see you guys soon.